Hello and welcome to the Comfy Kitchen. Today we're going to make a fancy meal on a budget. So on the menu for tonight we have a bunch of salad stuff, literally using what I have in my fridge. We're going to have boiled potatoes, steamed broccoli, heated up sauerkraut, you'll see what I do there, and European wieners. So our first step is to cut our potatoes into a pot and put water into it and start that up because it's one of the things that'll take the longest. After that, we'll start our sauerkraut, which I will place the recipe on the screen for that when we're doing it. Next, we're going to work on the sauerkraut, which literally just consists of sauerkraut, a red onion, caraway seeds, salt to taste, flour, and sugar, and white wine or water or some form of a vinegar. So fun tip, when you're boiling potatoes, you'll see this white layer of like bubbly stuff that forms on the top. That's actually the starch rising from the top. And I personally like to just take a spoon and scoop it off. You don't have to. I just like to, personal preference for myself. At this point, you can also take the lid off of your potatoes. At this point for the sauerkraut, all you're going to do is you're going to take the lid, cover it, and cook it until tender, which takes about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the temperature of your stove. In the meantime, we're going to get our broccoli ready, but I know you must be asking, how is this cooking on a budget? Well, a lot of my ingredients were bought on sale at the Real Canadian Superstore, as well as bought at the dollar store. Always look for those sales, people. The broccoli is going to be steamed, so you're going to fill a pot up with water about this much. You're going to put the steamer on top, or you can just boil it as well, and then you're going to cook it until it's a nice, crisp green color once you have it all ready to go. Next, we're going to get our hot dogs ready for frying by doing a butterfly cut, which is a slice straight down the middle, but not going all the way through. At the same time, we're also going to check our potatoes to see if they're done. When the potatoes are done, you're just going to drain the water off of them and let them sit until everything else is done as well. Super easy. Now we're going to test the sauerkraut to see if it's done, and you know it's done because it'll be nice and tender and not crisp and hard. That's perfect. We're also going to pull our broccoli onto our still hot burner from the potatoes, and we're going to let that come up to a boil and start to steam on a medium heat. So the next step with the sauerkraut is to sprinkle about 1 tablespoon of sugar on top and 2 tablespoons of flour. Before you add the flour, make sure to check the sauerkraut to make sure that it's as sweet as you actually want it, because sometimes 1 tablespoon isn't enough. So in my case, I needed 1 more tablespoon of sugar, so I did that, and now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flour and give the sauerkraut an extremely good mix. So now I'm going to add salt, and we're going to add the liquid after that, either white wine, vinegar, or water. I'm going to use a half a cup of water today because I don't have the wine, vinegar, and you're just going to stir that in, cover it, and let sit for 5 minutes. Slight correction, not let sit, you're going to let simmer for about 5, what's my book say? About 5 minutes. I'll link the recipe book in the description. Now that I have them in it, I'm actually going to take some butter and I'm going to mix it into the potatoes so that they've got a nice texture, just nice. Now we're going to test our sauerkraut one last time to make sure it's cooked nicely. It doesn't take too long. And that's perfect. So since the sauerkraut is done, we're going to turn that off. We're going to cover it, put it off to the side, and start frying our hot dogs next. So you're going to keep the stove at the same temperature, plop some butter in, melt it, add your hot dogs, and fry away. So this is what the broccoli looks like when it's done, a nice crisp green color. All you're going to do is you're going to cover it back up and remove from the heat. So the butter in the pan is melted and we're just going to add our hot dogs in, and it's literally as easy as that until they have a nice crisp edge. And the last step, assembling your salad. Now I'm just using whatever I can find in my fridge, and generally that's all you need to do. So enjoy your salad. Now let's flip those hot dogs. See that nice crisp outside? That is exactly what you want when you want to flip them. And with that, we have an easy, fancy meal on a budget. It's a really great way to have hot dogs in a different way that's not the usual normal with a bun and all the condiments. So everybody enjoy this.